Not long ago, it was claimed that of all the 30 wars going on in the world, none were simple defense against foreign aggressors. Most of the hostiles were compatriots separated only by their religion. Jonathan Swift, a satirist, remarked, "We have just enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love one another." Such wars will last as long as we refuse to forgive. Forgiveness heals, frees, and rebuilds persons, communities, and countries. Forgiveness has reconciled nations divided and shattered by civil wars. There are different attitudes to forgiveness. One, some do not see the need for forgiveness or giving forgiveness when they insist that they have no enemies or prefer to hate or exact vengeance. Profiteers from wars thrive when there are conflicts. Two, there have been a number of victims who kept saying, "May God forgive them." Three, the hurt, the hated, the wronged, and the betrayed often see the necessity for forgiveness, that forgiveness heals. Fourth, Jesus and many others believe that the unforgiving spirit creates prisons, builds walls of bitterness and resentment. 5. Yes, it is commonly admitted that forgiveness is not easy, especially when the wounds are deep. A choice must be made, which may go through 3 stages. That is, 1. I will never forgive. 2. I can't forgive because it still hurts. And 3. I want to forgive, but let go with God's help. All rebuilding, reconciliation, restoration, and reunification depends on genuine forgiveness. Genuine forgiveness must flow from being forgiven first by God, and it is a taste of God's goodness and mercy and remembering the commandments, the covenant, and the end that awaits all, which must move from deep within. There are 3 types of forgiveness that we are called to live. The first type is forgiving others. In order to forgive those who have sinned against us, first we need to realize what forgiveness is not. It's not excusing the offender, nor forgetting the incident, nor accepting that everything is okay. It does not mean that our relationship will be back to as it was. It is accepting that the reality of what happened and finding a way to resolve it. Here, we do it for ourselves, not for the other. One must be willing to forgive. If you are still bitter and feeling wounded, it is better to delay. There are 4 steps to forgiving others. 1. We need to relive the event. 2. We need to recognize the personal growth attained to this event. 3. We need to reconnect with the face and image of the offender. And 4th, we need to reach out in reconciliation, which is often done face to face. The second type of forgiveness is forgiving one's self, which is often taken for granted. The tendency is to hold oneself more accountable than we do others. When God remembers not our sins, we choose not to let go what we hold against ourselves and refuse to move on with God. It is a preference to hear the merciless, condemning, accusing voice and giving in to that voice. This act of love to oneself means a lot to people around us. It is said that hurting people hurt others. When delayed, we can become explosive, hurt others around us. Not to do this is a form of pride. You are actually rejecting God's forgiveness, which is extended to us. Proverbs 16:18. So learn to forgive yourself and your past sins. The third type of forgiveness is forgiving your God. Many ask, how can we forgive God? Does God need our forgiveness? There are times our faith walk is easy, at times violent and difficult. We do not understand how a loving God can allow bad things to happen. Countless feel betrayed by God. God appears to hide His face when we need Him most. In order to forgive God, we must begin with 1. The right notion of God. That God never makes mistakes, that He never abandons us, that His ways are not our ways and not our thoughts. 2. We must break that God has betrayed us barrier, the barrier that we had created. And third, then we need to see it as an experience and an opportunity to know God deeply. And finally, we complete this process with a grateful heart. The world stands in need of liberation, healing, and reconciliation. But we must be liberated, healed, and reconciled first. Or at least let us step out to the world as wounded healers or forgiven forgivers, like the woman who was forgiven much and loved much. Build bridges of reconciliation or raise up walls of resentment. That is the choice we have before us.